Welcome back to another episode of That Great Podcast. We have my good friend Jeff Policard. He's been a recurring guest. This is actually technically episode 3 of a series that we're going to be starting called Getting Social. So, Jeff, welcome back. Today we have a really interesting conversation, kind of a piggyback to the second episode we had together. I'm going to kind of kick it to you right out the bat. Where do you want to start, man? This is a deep topic.
Where do we
begin? Where do you want to begin?
The topic of every day, it seems, like in the past few months.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why we've been talking about it. But, it's AI.
Yeah.
It's the present, in the future. So.
Right. Yeah. So I think maybe why don't we kick off with that? So give us the background first of the last thing you sent me and kind of how it came to be. And then maybe we can even read it, and so the audience has context as well. But kind of walk us through the little experiment you were running with the AI.
Yeah. So I mean, even before this episode, we spoke about when we speak about this time around. Even if we want to talk a little bit about or a lot about AI.
Yeah.
In what perspective would we be using this time around, and what kind of topics, and so we're not completely redundant, because obviously there's a lot to talk about, but we can also keep saying the same things
ground.
if you don't really know what you're talking about, and
right.
if you don't further your knowledge on it and understand it and see where it's going, where it's at, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, trying to find other angles and trying to understand also how it evolves, and it's continuously evolving, and how we're adapting to this type of world. So, because it's for real. And a lot of people, sometimes when I talk about this stuff, people that don't educate themselves at all, almost saying like, you know what, it's not gonna be a big deal.
Yeah.
It's gonna
about
be like,
the AI, you mean?
Yeah, about AI.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like the internet, where everybody, in the late 90s, were saying like the world is gonna change because of the internet. What they're not realizing is that the world has changed.
Yeah, it did change.
It just took longer than expected.
Yeah.
But the exponential growth, with technology, you have to take into account the difference between, let's say, the 60s, 70s towards, the onset of the internet, and the exponential growth of technology since then. So now the growth is not the same. It's not going to take 20 more years before we realize, oh, AI did change the world. No, we might see it this year and next year.
In not so subtle ways, because even the internet, unless you're doing like a macro view, is kind of subtle differences, barring the iPhone and all that, but like subtle, right? Social and all that.
Yeah.
AI is going to be, or AI and robotics, all that, it's going to be kind of in your face.
That's the thing. It's not going to be as
and
subtle.
we already have it. The Alexas and all that, it's
exactly
there.
Exactly. If you don't feel it already, it's because you're not educating yourself. That's what it is to me. I mean, no offense to, I think it's also
maybe not educating, more just you're not really tuning in to it. You're just not.
You know what?
It's not picking it up. It's not on your radar.
I think it's also, I'm okay with that. It might be the healthier way to navigate through this thing.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not gonna. That's too much for me. Let me stick to what I do.
Simple.
Love my family. Eat my food. Travel.
Work out.
Do all my thing. Don't do my thing, and then let the world worry about that.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just not how I'm wired myself, because I'm curious. I just want to see where it's going. I want to see how it can maybe better my life and better the lives of others, and how I can be more productive, how I can, make more money, how I could help other people make more money. So that's why I'm so invested, and that's why we're talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
So going back to, I guess your question, and how this all started, I guess this conversation, so I look into 10 years from now, with AI evolving at the speed that it is. I even feel like this specific scenario might even happen a lot sooner than that. But imagine a 14-year-old in 2035 waking up to the sound of music, for example, right? Some people like doing that. I sometimes do that also. When I wake up, I go downstairs, I put jazz music, very, very calm, with some background and stuff like that. When the kids come down, they hear the music. Maybe they don't even hear it that much, but that's what I want, because the music is doing its job. And especially jazz music. Yes. It's a different topic, but it kind of expands their brain a little bit without them knowing.
Sure.
And one of the things I like about my kids' daycare, where all 3 of them have been, is every time I pick them up or drop them off, there's always jazz music playing. Yeah. Wow. I always love that.
That's
and
cool.
They know that is by design.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, 10 years from now, or however sooner it could possibly be, you would wake up to the tune that the AI basically knows to use for you in that specific moment. Meaning, they will track your sleeping patterns, the how you slept, the mood, your movements, and your brain activity throughout the night. And Chris is waking up in a. Chris did not have a good night last night. You had nightmares. He was sweating. He ate and drank before he went to sleep, for example. So I'm gonna wake him up with this type of music that can maybe help him, through his morning routine.
Mm.
Okay, so the music is already there. So specifically designed for you at
In
that
real time.
exact time
Yeah.
in real time. Now you go downstairs, the fridge, everything in the fridge already giving you the ads you want to see. They already know Chris Chris drank and ate too late last night and is not feeling too well, maybe a little hungover, not really had a great night's sleep. And the coffee is prepared at the intensity you want it at already. And because everything is linked, the food and everything being already prepared for you based on that specific situation, right? Or maybe depends on how you train your system. It could
Mhm.
be to make you feel better at that time. It could be to remedy the solution. It could be
Yeah.
whatever. It could be a juicy hamburger, cheeseburger to kind of like
Bring you back.
break the alcohol,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
solution that you design, but
Right.
it's designed specifically for you.
Yeah.
You turn on your phone or whatever, and you feed, and everything on your fridge has a screen. It's telling you the ads you want to see this day. Are you waking up hungover again? This is now, and now you want to order this. Boom, you order that right away. Now let's say it's a 14-year-old. Now they're going to school, but they're not going to regular school. They're not going anywhere. They're sitting down at their desk with either a hologram type
Like a VR or AR, like
AR,
augmented reality
yeah,
type
exactly,
thing, a shared
type of
classroom,
teacher,
Zoom,
exactly, robot.
Teams. You still got it.
That's
Right.
it for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then that robot will also understand your patterns where you're not your best today. You're
Mhm.
slower than usual. They're going to slow their pace to accommodate your situation. They're going to wait until you are maybe at your optimal point of focus to give you the more complex part of this lesson. They're going to maybe incorporate a game system into that lesson so that maybe you grasp it better and you're more in tune with it or interested in it or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically what this is saying, and then also another thing, you will have AI friends that will be texting you and emailing you and calling you and seeing how you're doing. Like literally, like, okay, I know you had a bad night last night. You want to
check-ins.
talk about it. Friends that
Yeah.
really care.
Yeah.
Nowadays we care less and less because we're all busy about doing other things.
Right.
Kids sometimes are felt left out
Yeah.
by their parents, by their friends, by their grandparents, by their cousins, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is so preoccupied with stuff. But now you're gonna have, I guess, quote unquote, true friends that have nothing else to do but to make sure that you are being taken care of and
Yeah.
that you're being heard, felt, seen in every way.
Yeah.
So everything is tailored specifically for you.
Yeah.
From the music you wake up to the food you eat right after that, to the lesson that you took at school, to the after school programs with your friends, robot friends, and everything else, specifically designed for you, customized to you.
Yeah.
So they're not going to know anything outside of that world. They're not going to necessarily know the same
How it was
challenges.
before,
No,
per se.
because for us, we had to create all that stuff for us. We had to research, what do I do when I wake up feeling this way? What kind of music should I be listening to? What kind of food? What kind of water? What kind of whatever?
So you're not necessarily assigning a value judgment to that. Then you're kind of seeing it, and I don't think we disclose this, but this exercise, was this something you wrote, or is this something you were kind of going back and forth with like a chat GPT and like kind of just feeding off? Like,
No.
was this like what you texted me, that narrative?
No, I didn't write that.
Okay. It was an
from a
extrapolation.
conversation, yeah.
Right.
Conversation with ChatGPT.
Right.
Especially after we decided we're gonna be talking about this specific topic.
Right.
Kind of doing my research and preparing for the interview. And at the end, I asked it, paint a picture of what it would be like, let's say 10 years down the road, for a young teenager waking up in the morning and what their morning will be like. and I found it fascinating.
So what? Yeah, because when I read it, I shared my immediate response with you, but when I read it, it was kind of like it reads utopia. It reads like
Yeah.
natural progression of things, and it reads like, okay, sounds rose-colored glasses sort of thing, like
Mm-hmm.
good. But like immediately after, I'm like, nah, that's weird, man. That's gonna be weird and super weird. And maybe that is how all humans feel in these transformational periods, industrial revolution. The humans then were probably like, oh, what is this? Like we're gonna have rolling rolling vehicles off of, like, we're coming off of the horses and carriages. So maybe it's like a human thing to just feel uneasy about a market shift. But that sounds like, I don't know, that evolution sounds like there's a lot of things that could go wrong there as well.
Well, we're gonna get deeper into it,
Yeah.
obviously, because there's a lot of pluses,
Yeah,
also a lot
it's
of
a
positive
balance.
aspects and possibilities,
Right.
also, obviously. But a whole lot of negatives,
Mhm.
also, obviously, or possible negatives, depending on how we as human beings interact with it and
Right.
use it as that tool that it is.
Yeah.
So it's a thin line between good and bad. And I think we'll experience both.
Sure.
If we're lucky. Maybe the bad will not let us experience the good, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe the good will not also let us experience the
Yeah,
bad,
because, I mean,
depending on which comes first.
Eventually, what are they going to regulate? How do you regulate something that
It's already being regulated.
How?
Yeah.
How so?
In a European country, I want to say it's Norway, where they are already making sure that your voice, your face, and all that kind of stuff is automatically copyrighted and protected, so that way it cannot be used with AI. So they're making some changes
That they're
already,
so ahead on that, man.
limiting
Wow.
also how we consume it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. No,
it depends.
yeah, it's good.
On the country,
Proactive.
on the
They tend to be very
politics, I
proactive.
guess.
Yeah, the Americans don't tend to be as proactive. We're more reactive to things. So I feel like we're gonna be, I don't know, maybe behind the eight ball there. Like, and the interests that are using it.
I think we already are. That's
Yeah.
the problem. And I think also we might be using it for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
You just look at the system.
Yeah.
The system has shown us over the years that they're not necessarily prioritizing our well-being.
Right.
It's never been about that.
Yeah.
And that's the
about
part
the
that-
dollars.
It's about the dollars. It's about
they're
the
using it. I mean,
capitalistic system, and it's just the bottom line every time, not us.
You figure that who's been the main other than ChatGPT, because they're relatively, as a company, new from my understanding. We're maybe from the 2000 knots, 2016 era and all that. Maybe that's when they're around. But everyone else, the big powerhouses like Meta and previously Facebook and Google, and all them, they're on the cutting edge. Their natural progression of their business model, or like of an Amazon, is AI as well. So like,
Yeah.
Google was always going to become an AI company,
Of course.
ultimately, and
natural
so now
progression, yeah.
and they're just an institution at this point. You can't even imagine. Ironically, you use ChatGPT. I'm using it more as a Google these days, and supposedly people are saying ChatGPT it over Google it these days as well. That's like, I've heard it's like kind of like Google. You say like, oh, Google it, right? People used to say that, and like now I'm hearing more and more, oh, just ChatGPT it.
Yeah.
It's like it's being.
I mean, I do
more
more of ChatGPT
Yeah.
than Google now.
Right.
And even Google, when you do a search
Has the
result,
AI.
it has the AI summary
Right.
for you too.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's pretty practical.
Yeah.
That has changed actually how SEO is being
Mhm.
done too, which is a different topic.
Right.
Maybe we talk about
Yeah, we can go there.
marketing
We can go
after
there.
that, but SEO, as we know, is not the same because of that.
Right.
And so we have to think about that. But I sent that same text, same mini story. It's
Yeah.
like a 3-minute story, and I want to do a video of it, like a reenactment of it, like a little series.
Yeah, that'd be
that's
badass.
that's like a project that I hope to be
Yeah,
able to
that'd
do
be cool.
next year or something like that. But I sent it to my mom, sent it to my family and other people, just random people. Well, not random, but specific people.
Sure.
Just to see their point of view and see how they react to it. I didn't say anything, I just sent it. I didn't say who wrote it, where it's coming from, or anything like that. And my mom quickly said, this is exactly what I've been talking about. Technology is going to be the end of us, and blah 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 blah. We're losing our human side, and we're dehumanizing and all that. I'm like, I'm just listening. I just want to see her
Sure.
perspective, And some of it I do agree with, but some of it, what I told her is that we've been, we've been dehumanized for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
We've been killing each other for centuries. We kill each other more than animals.
Yeah.
So it's not about that. It's just like technology is giving us a new way to do it, and a new tool, basically. But it can also be used in the right way. And I haven't spoken to her about that, but another podcast I was listening to opened my eyes in terms of perspective and how really we are as humans as opposed to AI. So at first, if you remember, I texted you, maybe we talk about human versus AI, and you kind of use that perspective and create something a little bit more maybe general in a way, or no, sorry, more precise. But how would you feel, for example, if AI took the place of our leaders to lead us? So you're saying no?
No.
Okay, so that's the natural answer.
Yeah.
I would probably say no.
What do you think,
also.
Ronar? What do you think? Would you let AI become just want a quick poll of the room here?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
all right.
Okay.
So all of us would say no right off the bat.
Yeah.
So this interview that I was listening to, and that's actually this morning that I listened to this guy. And he was like, I know most people would think I'm crazy, but this is his perspective. What are the leaders doing today? They're killing people. We're spending more money on war than on caring for each other. There's no money for healthcare. There's no money for education. There's no money for food. There's no money for anything well-being related.
Mm-hmm.
But there's money, trillions of it, for war,
Right.
Killing people.
Right.
Always been. If we eliminated the war, we would be prosperous all over. Everybody.
Mm-hmm. 100% question.
Isn't that what we're supposed to be?
Should be, but do you think that the AI, let's say we were going to make that transition to AI, who's tweaking that AI? Is it not going to be the same people?
No.
They rig it to continue and optimize that.
That's why the topic expanded into, is it one AI that decides for the planet? Basically,
Jesus, yeah.
Hey, make us prosperous. Lead us in that way. That AI will more likely take us there than any human being could. Because the human being with history has already shown us that there's never been a time where we really care for each other on a global basis. As humans, not as Americans, Europeans, Africans, and South. No. As human beings, as we're all the same. I've always believed that. For me, I don't care where you're from, what you do, who you like, who you love, who you pray to, what you look like, what your skin color is.
Yeah.
All that shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It's just things for us to
Those are
fight
dividers,
against each other.
100%.
So that the people making those decisions, making their billions and billions and billions and accumulating, can keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because if we are united, if we all prospering, then they won't.
Yeah.
And even if they
not even that they won't, there'll just be a little less.
Exactly, a little less, and also they will have less power.
that
less power,
ignores,
and the distance between them and us will be reduced, and that's what's bothering them.
You can't have that.
You know what I mean?
Can't have that. Yeah.
So the AI, in essence, will literally, because you did give it a task, it says, listen, I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to have clean water. I want everybody to have healthcare. What do we do? The solution is pretty simple. Okay, stop killing each other. Because that's number one, because trillions and trillions are being spent there,
right?
With building nuclear bombs, creating armies with robots to kill more people. Now we're able to send robots to kill more people.
Yeah.
Yay. Because now we don't kill our own. You can kill, instead of killing 100,000 of the enemy, we're gonna kill 1 million. And guess what? We're losing 0 on our end. Yay. That's the mentality.
Man, I don't know. It just gets and I'm like, I'm hearing you and I'm like, yes, yeah, I'm agreeing, but it's just again, maybe the human nature is to be very resistant to it. A whole bunch of things come to mind, but like one thing with that is like, okay, you break into like enforcement, right? So you're probably gonna have some level of resistance, cold or hot, to that idea if we went there, right? So let's say we kick it to the AI overlord of the world, and I'm assuming at that point we'll probably have robotics, which we already have now, but more prevalent, more prevalent of that. So we get down to enforcement. Are we now the AI has enforcement power now, right? So you get into a situation of, this just in, humans, whatever country, have just been gunned down by the AI, AI enforcement intel, just like we see here. Like, we've had that happen before in various countries and all that. But it's like seeing that from an AI would be just jarring, don't you think? Like,
Do you think what the most ironic thing of this whole thing is?
yeah,
If AI, let's say we had one AI leader for the world,
okay,
for example, if that AI leadership decides to start killing people just like we did,
mm-hmm.
where it would learn it from us.
Right.
So that's it. That's your answer.
Well, yeah,
It would learn it from us. We're the ones who've been doing it for
100%.
decades and centuries.
Yeah.
That's our history. That's who we are. That's how
Yeah.
we started this specific area of the topic.
Right.
Is that we've been killing each other for centuries. For our whole existence.
Yeah.
So now if AI were to do that, it would
Well, it would definitely- it would be
it's actually mirroring who we are.
100%. It would be a reflection of us and an imprint, but still, what I get back to is like having that, giving that authority, giving that power, relinquishing it, because getting it back after that is going to be. I mean, would
Why-
we suspend elections? Like, would this now be?
So, well,
you know what I'm
this is
saying?
going into detail.
Yeah.
I
It
get
gets
that.
it gets like.
But why would you want to
crazy.
go back if, for example,
Yeah.
the AI is able to say, you know what, eliminating wars, for example,
Mm-hmm.
let's kind of figure a way out, because super intelligence is also on the horizon. Their ability to negotiate, their ability to find ways that both parties could be okay with.
Right.
Okay, is going to
Ideal
be
negotiation
exponential,
sort of thing.
and also it will
sure.
be completely unbiased. Completely unbiased.
Completely
You mean
unbiased.
depending on who's
Well,
training
yeah,
them?
because it would have to become an AI. We're going so deep into it. I love it. When it would have to be an AI that has developed itself, because we've developed every AI.
Yeah, so that's what I
far.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
Now with super intelligence, they are developing themselves. So if let's say the only prompt or the only goal of that AI is to make the world prosperous or basically save the planet. I saw a little video or meme or post recently about this guy, this astronaut that had a moment while looking over the planet, like his perspective, looking over the planet from where he was out of space.
Yeah.
And he said something that really, really resonated with me. He's like, man, we fucked this up.
Yeah.
Like, look at us.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Look at the planet from that perspective.
Right.
This one. And the only thing that separates us from basically extinction
Yeah.
and blowing up is that little layer of atmosphere that protects us from the
rest
the
of
galaxy.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And then we're here fucking it up. Think about it. And here we're here kind of literally blowing up the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, come on now. So do we want to save the planet? Okay, let's say most people do. Let's say. I think
I would
so.
say so on a general poll.
And yeah, in general poll, most people would want to. I want that for my kids. I want that for their kids. Not even for me, because I won't see it. And that's where we have to kind of shift our mindset. If you really want that to happen, even if we're the most selfish people in the world, at least do it for your kids. If you're selfish towards your kids too, then fuck that.
Yeah.
That's a category of people.
it's
Unfortunately,
different.
those are the people that
man.
are leading us.
Yeah.
Where they
Yeah.
only think about their next dollar
Right.
and the next dollar of their friends and the next dollar of the people, whoever that are governing them.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about their kids and the planet. They're not thinking about, what we're leaving behind, the resources that we are exhausting right now. They're not thinking about all that.
On that, do you think AI won't, setting apart the overlord, because that's like a whole different can of worms, but just like in terms of integration with us, because we'll get there for sure. We're already kind of getting there. Do you think the AI, we'll call it the AI revolution. I'm sure that's going to be coined eventually.
Yeah.
So we'll be the first breaking.
Yeah.
The AI revolution. Do you not think that some of those problems will be easier solved or solvable? Because,
I think that's the point that this guy was making also, because
there's a lot of potential on that side. If we can just fucking focus it towards the right problems, we can really, I think we can make some progress.
Exactly. You think about, being, with energy, using our resources, and also spreading the wealth, spreading the love, all that stuff is more. It seems like it's more doable and more accessible
Yeah.
through
Even
an
talking it through with the
impartial,
AI, like, yeah,
unbiased AI system.
right.
Because we have shown for thousands of years that we're not able to do that.
Hmm.
You know, what we're good at is going over somewhere, some other people's territories, stealing it, killing people, burning them down, claiming it as our own,
Mm.
planting our flag, and then excluding everybody else that wants to come in.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You understand? So it's like that's what we've done over the years.
Mhm.
So you want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, I guess, you know, or we want to try something completely different.
Yeah.
And that's what he thought. It was like, you know, because empathy, compassion, and all these things might be things that AI will not able almost ever to get. Those are human type characteristics. But if you train it to understand what that is, and in terms of action
Decision making
and
with
decision
those
make
things
exactly in
mind.
play, exactly.
I don't see why that would be out of the reach. And you just said, I always thought that too. You know, and maybe we can segue in there to those human emotions. Can the AI ever really get it? Will it be able to emulate it? Let's say, but it kind of will come down to its output. So like if you want it to have empathetic qualities, you just need to kind of give it the context of what. You give it
What
an
it
example,
means.
like, yeah, like here's an example of being empathetic. Here's literally one example, and it will probably extrapolate, and you know. So I think it will be able to. Let's segue into that element of individuality and AI, because the short story that was presented there speaks to it. And I think on our last conversation about it, we were talking about the musical element, and since then,
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
since then, that was about a month ago. I've heard AI songs, like fully AI, and one of my friends, music friends, basically wrote it up. Well, she sings, but she sang over a track written by AI, and it sounds like anything on the pop radio, you know, today. Like it all sounds digital and computerized anyway. But I think the individuality, like if there's going to be any sense of, you know, if you want to call it rebellion or just distinction between AI and humans going forward, it will be naturally those elements, arts, you know, drama, music, anything that's expressive. Like imagine, have you ever seen like gymnasts and any gymnast routine, like in the Olympics?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like
I
that?
really enjoy watching that.
Yeah, right. And it's insane. So we'll have robots that'll be capable of doing it, but there's nothing that emulates
The grace.
the grace and the beauty of a human doing it. So I think that I want to talk on that a little bit, the individuality element of what our expressions will look like in a world that's more robotic, let's say.
You know, there's so much to unpack here because yesterday I heard my wife tell my 4-year-old, who was I guess late alpha generation. Now we're officially in the beta generation
Fucking betas.
already.
Yeah.
Millennials, which
I don't even know what I am.
you're Z.
I'm 90. I was born 97.
You're Z. So 95 to 2010 is Z. So that's the
Okay.
last.
That's a big. It's a
Yeah,
big.
you're a
Z.
Z. Yeah. And my wife is a millennial.
Okay, so that was just before
Okay,
then.
and
Just before
I
Z?
remember 5-10 years ago, oh, millennials, but millennials are, some of them, the earlier millennials are in their 40s. People
Right.
don't realize that.
Yeah.
So now you're a Z, and my daughter is an alpha. And if I were to have another, which I won't, she would, or he would be
Yeah.
a beta.
Okay.
Okay, so now I was like, she told her, we were watching something like on YouTube, or she was watching something on YouTube, and she landed on something, and my wife said, no, that's not real, because she wanted to watch it. It's not real, it's AI, because it was kind of weird and stuff like that. It says AI, and she's like, well, I want to watch it. My daughter, she doesn't understand what AI is.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to watch that. It stimulates me. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, like that generation is not gonna know the difference. That generation is not gonna care
Shit.
about the difference.
Oh man.
We care about the difference.
'Cause
Like,
we know-
oh, that's AI. That's not authentic. That's not organic.
It doesn't matter.
Are they gonna care?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They're not gonna care. That's the thing.
Wait a minute, but you think you should? If
Why would
depends how
they?
you? But depends. It also depends, because I feel like, you know, especially in your household too, you have the musically inclined. Like,
Yeah.
And for me, like not so much jazz, but like I'm gonna show my kids Zeppelin. I'm gonna be like, you guys, you're gonna come,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what you're gonna like come up knowing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
roots
yeah.
of all this,
Yes.
and they'll know. But I
Good.
think but
Yeah.
I think like vast majority of kids, the pop culture will go exactly where you're saying, where it's, could be an AI pop star, and the kids of that generation and onward will be.
They would be perfectly
Yeah,
fine
it's
with
perfect.
it.
It's
It's
fine.
like the conversations I have with my dad, and I understand the generational gaps because until today, my dad would come to my house and say, "Oh, I don't know if he's joking or if he is wishful thinking, or you have a CD player, like I want to put this CD." I'm like, "Dad, you've asked me this for the past 10 years. I don't have a CD. I haven't had a CD player in my car in the
Yeah.
past 10
You
years.
ain't got Blu-ray anymore, man.
I
It's
used to
not-
have a
yeah.
Blu-ray disc player that I had actually. I think I bought it in 2010-ish because at that time Netflix
Was still
was
sending
DVDs
Yeah, right,
and
right.
Blu-ray discs.
Yeah.
And being
Talk
a
about
movie
this
buff-
shit makes me feel old, and that was only like 10
Exactly.
years ago. I'm not even 30 yet.
and
That's
I
crazy.
kept it for years
It's
because
crazy.
until they switched completely digital,
Yeah.
you know. And what you say about Home Alone?
Oh, it's nostalgic. I watch it every Christmas season. I
watched it
I love
last
that shit.
Christmas with my kids. We
I
all
love it.
loved it.
It's
My
a great.
parents actually.
Was
my
that was the
parents-
first time you saw it?
No.
Oh,
I watched
gonna
Home
be
Alone many times.
Yeah, okay.
All of them in New
Okay,
York.
yeah,
I love that
yeah.
stuff.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff.
And my parents who especially my dad, who did not really want to be a part of that whole watching Home Alone thing
Yeah.
as a family with the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
He sat down through the entire thing. He went through maybe 3 vodkas with that, but still. And we all enjoyed
Sounds like
it.
a better time.
We
Honestly, I
all
haven't tried
enjoyed
that.
it. But going
Yeah,
back to that
right, right.
moment where the generational gap,
Yes.
where he's like, Dad, he says, okay, well, wow, no CD players. You know where you can find a CD player? To the museum. Go to a museum. You'll find a CD player. And he gets mad because like, oh, CDs are so good. Dad, I say, I understand that. He loves opening the box and
Yeah,
looking
the
at
art,
the credits
yeah,
and
right,
then putting
sure.
the CD in. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually love that. You love that. And I actually understand it.
Yeah.
But it's not the reality of today.
Yeah,
Because
and
it's not as
just a side
practical.
note on that too. Not so much with the discs, to my understanding, but like records, which is even going back
That's
further.
a-
But
exactly.
that's a whole different vibe though, right?
It is.
It actually when it's coming out of the whatever you call that thing, like
Oh, you?
I know. I mean, I've never heard it. I've
never
only
heard that. I'll
No,
tell you something.
but it is different.
One
like,
of the best
actually.
experiences that I've had recently, and I just remembered that I should have booked that hotel because it was in Boston. I was in Boston in April, and I booked this hotel completely random. It was a boutique hotel. Booked it for location more than anything else. I wasn't spending a lot of time, but I wanted to be kind of central to where I was going to be. And they have a record player in each room, and they also
Jeez.
have
little catalog.
vinyl
Oh
in their
shit!
lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, of all the oldies and everybody you
Oh
want to
my
listen
god,
to.
that's great.
So I grabbed a few of those vinyls, I put it in, and I literally lifted the needle and placed it on it, heard the little like whatever noise that it makes, and the sound that came out of it was completely different. It
Yeah.
was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, I lost all my pictures and videos on my
Ah.
phone, so I have nothing to show
And
for
did
it.
you grow up? I'm sure we touched on this in the first episode, but did you grow up in that era with record
my
players
dad,
so much?
yeah,
So
because
you
my
grew up-
dad
yeah,
had.
when you were a kid.
I grew up
okay.
seeing my dad having a library of
Yeah,
vinyl.
got
He
you.
still has that in
Yeah.
Haiti, like a library, and he
Wow.
still used to play that. So I've seen it.
Right.
My generation is very unique
Because
Like,
you guys saw
I saw the
everything.
whole
You saw the
thing.
brick phones. You
The
guys in the brick cell phones, or you had that. Like you
Oh,
literally
absolutely.
saw like all
You know
of
how I
it.
used to communicate with my family back home in Haiti when I was growing up as
How?
a teenager and starting to drive? Walkie talkies.
Holy shit!
Imagine that.
What year is that?
That was 93.
Oh yeah, pagers. Yeah, pagers.
Page. I never had a pager. I don't know why. I think
It was like a
it's
text
because
message, though,
it was.
right? It was basically the pre-text message.
Yeah, you get a message.
Yeah.
You call that number that sends you a message.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So the thing is, you just putting
On your
it
hip.
on your hip
Yeah.
was the style.
Yeah.
And then the walkie talkies also was the style.
Right.
You were part of the elite. You had a
With a
walkie talkie
walkie-talkie.
walking around. Yeah,
Jesus.
a walkie talkie.
Wow.
So I did that, and I saw the entire evolution
Right.
of technology.
right.
Because 79, I'm like a cross between Gen X and millennials.
That
Millennials
transitionary.
technically
Yeah.
at 80, 81.
Right.
That's millennial. So I was born in late 79. So I have a little bit of both generations. But going back to the generational gap that we spoke about with my daughter, they're not going to know
Yeah.
the difference. They're not going to care. So you mentioned like a pop artist. Listen, if that pop artist is from Mars human, AI, Unreal, whatever. They not only, I don't know if they won't know, they won't care because that AI is making me dance, happy, and enjoying
So
myself.
then what do you think that means for because I saw in your proposed notes, you categorize it as like the fall of, I don't know if it was music industry or something, but you mentioned the fall of something. We can reference it. Do you think that will ultimately phase out the
Music?
humans? Yeah, like human made music,
I
and like
feel-
will the humans themselves just not want to part? Like
I
as us
feel-
as musicians, like I literally couldn't imagine. I don't care, and there's better musicians than me. There's probably going to be an AI that's better than me.
Not
but
probably.
yeah, we'll see.
I
But-
promise you.
yeah.
Promise
Well,
you.
they're still catching up.
And you play
Yeah,
drums.
Yeah.
So imagine
Yeah, it's getting
not
there.
missing a beat.
It's getting there,
literally
yeah.
ever.
But even still, that won't negate. Maybe it'll negate my ability and earning potential as a musician if I ever wanted to go that career path. But it wouldn't take away my desire to want to play music. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that AI is taking us in a direction where we just lose musicians and artists will just go away?
Picture this. So, real story. 2 weeks ago, I call a very good friend of mine and somebody that I've done a lot of music with. I do jingles with him, and he's my go-to every time I need to do a jingle. We start with a conversation. We look at lyrics. We look at the genre. We look at female or male vocals. We look at everything. We decide, and he executes, produces, mixes, and sends it over to me. I send it to the client. Boom, we get paid, and we're done. That's been our system for years. Very easy. I love doing that. We get paid well. He loves doing it because that's all he does. He doesn't do
Nice.
anything else. Now, he's been building his library for like copyright music to sell everywhere. Like, as a matter of fact, I heard his song once in a movie.
Wow.
I know it was him because he had, and I recognize it because he made me listen to it way back. I'm like, yo, is that your song? He's like, yeah. You know, he got in, so he got a check for that. I'm like,
Nice.
that's cool. I was happy.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
with the library, they extract some of the music that he's created and they use it, and he gets paid. That's how he lives. That's how he makes
It's like
his
royalties,
money.
basically.
Yeah, royalties.
Yeah.
And they pulled him off of the library, so he's no longer there because he's no longer needed already. Because now they can produce it like that without having to pay any royalties to
What do
anybody.
you mean they pulled him off the library? They just stopped using his library.
Yeah,
What do you
because
mean?
they don't need it. They're creating
using their
already
own,
with
yeah.
AI. They're, you know, and
Shit.
and copyright music is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why? So that's one. And now he was kind of depressed actually because I was calling him about a project and you know, I'm depressed because this. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, you know what? And what's next, man? What are you gonna do? He says, well, listen, there's a few other things that are good. For example, he's using software right now that allows him to mix and master songs that sound like, you know, award-winning masterpieces that have been known to sound amazing. So now you can mimic the actual
For a
sound
fraction of the sound labels
of this.
cost.
Yeah, exactly. A
Yeah,
thriller.
flip it on them.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
I want to sound that thriller.
Yeah, nice.
Basically, boom, you can do some of that stuff.
Nice.
But here's the thing. Now you're going to find consumers that are organic, that want to listen to the human stuff. I don't want the AI stuff.
Right.
The AI stuff is better. That's okay.
Yeah, I
I
want
want to
human,
see
like
the
us, the
human. I want to
purists.
feel.
Yeah.
And that's going to be us.
Yeah.
But we're fading away now. So that's
Yeah.
why it's not going to last. It's going to have that period where some of us are going to hold on to the authenticity, the organic feel of music, the human side, the emotions, the relations,
Mhm.
you know, that we feel through music. We're going to hold on to that. Me, I will. You will.
Mhm.
Even as a Z, you will.
So, okay.
But the A's, the
Yeah.
alphas, and the B's are not going to care.
I think why, as you were saying, I think why that will 100% be the case. And as you're saying, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, they wouldn't be able to just emulate. I go back to Zeppelin or any rock because, you know, my background is more on that. The reason why I'm bringing that up in particular is because the spirit of rock and the spirit of all of its offshoots and genres and metal and all of this, there's this spirit of rebellion, the spirit of energy, right? And, you know, maybe the AI, it gets there, but like, I just can't see where, even like if it's a small minority, like there will be a sect of humans that just they won't want it. They won't want the AI.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that.
But pop
that
culture
little
wise,
part-
it's gonna blow up.
Yeah,
like
that's the
that's
thing.
for sure.
Because here's another
That's
thing
for
that he
sure.
told me, and I didn't think of it that way. He says, Jeff, this is where it's gonna be, music wise, radio or whatever. Let's say GPT radio,
Yeah.
play me a song. It's my birthday today. I have nobody here. Play me a happy birthday remix with Taylor Swift's
Yeah, and
voice,
Shaggy.
Michael Jackson
Oh
featuring,
shit.
and
Yeah.
a rap from 50 Cent,
Yeah.
with a mix of country, rap, and rock.
Yeah. Which, if that sounds too far fetched, the music labels own all of that music. So, like, a music label that has the AI
The AI will
integration, they'll be
find
like,
it,
yeah, no problem. We'll
and
mix
then
all
it
these
will
people
be
up. It's
authentic
our
also.
stuff anyway.
Yeah. They won't copy it and,
Yeah,
and
there's
use it.
no, it's theirs.
They're gonna
It's-
know
yeah.
exactly how to formulate that and play it right for you in seconds,
Mhm.
sounding
Like,
like the perfect mix, the perfect mastered final product.
so this is
on
what your
demand.
buddy's getting into now.
Well, not that he's getting into that, but
Oh.
he's saying that that's where it's
It's
going.
going, got
He
it.
can't but he's not needed for that. That's gonna be automated. He's gonna be needed when you have, let's say, a movie that wants to be all human. Let's say all human movie.
Yeah, that is the.
Yeah,
that's what
all
they're going
human,
for.
because
yeah.
the movies are also gonna change.
Oh, they
movies
already
gonna
are.
So
Yeah.
all movies all human movie, all human music, and you're gonna advertise it as that. Advertise it as that.
Right.
It's almost like
It'll
the
be,
food industry in a way where you have
organic.
a premium restaurant that serves real food.
Right.
But what's the most profitable restaurant in the
Mickey
world?
D's, baby.
The one that sells
Yeah.
the least
Right.
real food in the world.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's
Literally.
the same for music also. If you
Yeah.
think about it, today it's already like that. When I
Yeah.
tell my wife, because I told her recently we had a conversation, she was asking me if I like that. I like that. I said, listen, I could listen to some of that stuff, in a party environment, and I think it sounds pretty good. But for me to listen to it on my own as music is difficult.
Yeah.
I listen to it more as entertainment, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to separate the two.
Right.
There's the art form and there's the business form.
Yes.
And this is more on the business form. In
Right.
2 years from now, I guarantee you will not listen to that anymore.
Yeah.
And that says something.
Yeah.
But we just listened to Michael Jackson a little while ago, Bob Marley a little
Yeah.
while ago,
Yeah.
or even some of the most recent ones, even if it's like a Whitney Houston or
Oh.
Prince or
Yeah.
whatever you're into, you're gonna find
Right.
true artists
Right.
that transcends
Truly.
generations.
Yeah. It's timeless.
It's timeless. That's
Yeah.
the art part of it.
Yeah.
The pop, there's a reason why
It's
it's
easy.
easy
Yeah.
to consume, because
Right.
anybody will understand it,
Right.
anybody will appreciate it,
Right.
and that's why it
catchy.
fades away super fast.
Yeah.
It's only at the surface.
Right.
Now you're still gonna. We always had that. We're still gonna have that, but now it's gonna be produced at a super
Yeah.
unprecedented scale.
Yeah, and maybe it almost makes it more of a premium. Because
Makes
like
what a
you
premium?
think of like
Real?
think
No,
of like
that's
an
what I'm saying. It is
orchestra.
gonna be
Think
a
of like
premium. Yes.
I mean, I would say I've been to a couple, not to be all highfalutin here, but I've been to a couple and they're great, man. I mean, you put a bunch of robots on the stage, or you just put the speakers on loud blast and tell me, hey, this is an AI generated orchestra. I mean, for anybody that's going to an orchestra, they're gonna be like, it's gonna go over their head. They want the humans. We want the human element. I want the finesse on the violin, on the cello, on it's gonna be.
But check this out. Bro.
Yeah.
You just said something.
I sound like such an old soul.
If it's robots, let's say you go to like a symphony.
Yeah.
And you're sitting down, everybody's in suits, and you have those little goggles or whatever to see and whatever. Well, even if it's just let's say it's the Sphere in
Oh
Vegas.
shit! Yeah.
Okay, where you combine
Insane.
the digital technology component with the human aspect. You go and see a concert there, right? There's a YouTube experience there, for example.
Yeah.
Humans are creating that. So let's say you do that and you immerse yourself into the entire experience, and it's amazing. Next time around, you go and it's completely AI. I can almost guarantee you that experience you're gonna have, unless you're very stubborn and say, no, the human was better. Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
You're
it
convincing
won't.
yourself. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can argue that it's more authentic and organic, but to
Right.
say that it's better, it's very difficult. Even if I have a piece of French fries from McDonald's or a bite of a Big Mac, it tastes pretty good. I know it's
Yeah.
shit, but
Yeah.
it tastes pretty good. Come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people keep buying it.
Right.
People like that easy stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how long we're gonna really hold on to that human, organic, authentic type of art on the art side of things, and say that it's better and that we want to. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I don't know
Especially
how.
at least where you can have commercial success. You might still have that.
You gotta really think about it.
Yeah.
When nowadays beats and all instrumentals are created by computer,
Right.
obviously manually by a human, but to the folks that are back then created it through the instrument,
Right.
like actually drummers.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't need you
Yeah.
to do that. The computer
Right.
will create the drum for me.
Right. And even the sound itself, because like, even modern pop and hip hop,
It will sound
especially
better.
hip hop, it doesn't sound good with acoustic drums in particular. You need that 808, that
Exactly.
you don't want it's different. Yeah. So, but I will say every live performance, you got a badass drummer, and we got some touring drummers to this day holding it
and
down
also
and
seeing-
tearing that shit up. Yeah.
Seeing the musician.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another
It's cool.
thing.
Yeah.
When you look at the stage and you look at 20 performers on the
They're
stage,
just tearing it up.
it's not
Yeah.
just filling the stage for no
Right.
reason. It's
Yeah.
because everybody's in their own element.
Yes.
One of the most beautiful live performances I've ever seen in my life, to be honest, not to be super dramatic, but it was I can't believe I remember this 440. What is this Dominican singer? One of my favorite artists.
Oh,
Can't
man.
remember his name. Are you serious? Oh man, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't.
We'll have to drop it in.
But he's one of the most famous, bachata artists of all time.
Okay.
And the most famous Dominican singer
Yeah, I'm
of all
super gringo,
time.
so I wouldn't know.
And I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
This is super embarrassing.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did a concert during COVID
Uh-huh.
outside on the beach on a stage, a mini stage, but very intimate. But everybody's on the beach, nice scenery, and they played live music throughout. Obviously, it's super produced because it sounds amazing.
Right.
But you could, man, why I love watching that, and it's not something that you just listen to in the background. If you're watching it on YouTube, it's visually pleasing.
Yeah.
Also, you're seeing them sweat, you're seeing
Yes,
them
man.
move, you're seeing them play their instrument and be in part of the music.
Yeah.
That's extremely great to see.
Yeah.
I don't see AI reproducing this as is.
Sure.
But in 20, 30 years, if our movements, are being studied over and over again with an accelerated and exponential growth,
Yeah. Yeah, and then as I'm saying this,
They're
we
gonna be
keep
able to
saying
do it.
robot and robot and robot. When in my up until literally this point, I'm saying robot and I'm picturing, Terminator
Mhm.
robot. But
Mhm.
20, 30 years from now, even right now we have them, but 20, 30 years from now, you're gonna have humanoid passable robots. They're gonna look like humans. So who's to say you start getting a humanoid looking robot, program it to be like a prima donna ballerina, and how do you know? Like literally, how would you know?
I don't think you will.
How do I know you're not a robot right now?
Yeah, exactly. You won't.
Like there won't be a way. Like it's gonna be
just
so.
like in the movies. Sometimes
yeah.
who's real, who's not.
Right.
You're not gonna really know. It's
Right.
gonna be one whiskera. Okay, one whiskera. I can't remember.
You
I
looked
can't-
it up.
I looked
Was
it
it
up because I
bugging?
was like, "Oh, you guys don't know one whiskera, do you?" All right.
Yeah, I don't.
You
know.
don't-
I'm gringo.
what?
I'm gringo, man.
No,
I'm
way.
gringo. I might know songs if you played it, but
You
I don't.
have to go
Yeah?
and listen to this guy.
Okay.
And you speak. Oh, you don't speak Spanish either.
Yeah, I understand it.
It's like
I'm
this
telling you,
guy.
man, I'm
This guy
gringo.
is you're
I'm
unique.
gringo. Yeah, I'm gringo.
he has a
Yeah.
Spanish last name. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting.
Yeah.
But this guy is one of my favorite. He
Okay.
sings one note and you know it's him.
Oh, nice.
It's one of these guys. Okay, so
Legend.
it's gonna be to me very hard to emulate something like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, again, it's not gonna matter
Yeah.
because my 4-year-old is not gonna care. That's the problem.
And there's the progression too. And I think this kind of encapsulates it. Is I'm kind of like an old soul with respect, especially with respect to music. Like I'm listening to a lot of contemporary rock and things from the 2000s and all that. But like these days, especially, I'm going back to Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and a lot of UK rock lately, or even when you look like the pop and American pop, we have like Jackson and Whitney Houston, and all these. Most of them gone now or retired and losing them gradually. That's just how it goes. But every time I'm watching them, every time I'm seeing them, whether they're still alive or they're now past, it's like, man, we're never gonna have another one of those. There's not gonna be another Michael Jackson. It's kind of just like when you say like there can't be another Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan broke this barrier. You can't break a barrier twice. Like you took basketball international. You don't do that 2 times.
That's a good point.
So there's these legends in all their fields that have come and they done what they had to do, and they took over the world literally during their time. And it's kind of fitting now that maybe AI is the next evolution. We get the first AI pop star that breaks that barrier, and like it's literally a commercial success as an AI robot. Because humans, I think we hit it. I think
Yeah,
we've
and
hit
you know,
our creative capacity with from the 60s to
yeah,
now. We especially now. No
and you know
hate,
what,
no hate on the pop culture these days, but damn,
you know what
it's
the
it's a
transition is
fall.
going to be like also? It's like we're gonna hold on to the human stars,
Yeah.
for example, because they're the vehicles, we're the vehicles.
Sure.
Say, for example, a young star, it's gonna be hard for me to figure this out.
Think
I
like a
don't know.
Sabrina Carpenter. She's
I don't
big right
even
now.
know. How
Yeah,
old is she?
she's 20s.
Okay, so let's say her. Now, using the tools that are accessible to her and her team and her label with AI, she might never even perform the same way or even perform at all, because she could literally sing in any way she wants, like completely off tune, completely
Yeah,
hung over,
yeah,
and then AI will make it
fix
work.
it up. Yeah,
Okay. And then using her as the vehicle to that message. So now her fans gonna continue supporting her,
yeah,
right, as the artist, but all of her music and all of her content is going to be AI generated.
right.
So it's like a hybrid.
Yeah,
So you're going to have those artists, those that are now in their late teens and early 20s that are in between. And once those phase out, you're going to have now the pure AI, which has nothing to do with the performer. Because think
right.
about it also, if we are headed towards a dystopian type of environment, you know, globally, for example, which a
Yeah.
lot of people are predicting at least a little bit of that
Sure.
before utopia,
Yeah,
right? So if we get to that point and we're all stuck at home most of the time, right? Because we also have to talk about nuclear warfare, which maybe another episode,
yeah.
and all the other bullshit going on around the world with us still fighting and killing each other.
Mhm.
We're not going to want to be out in the streets for too long. We're going to be inside because you're going to have everything. You can be at a basketball game. You can be at a concert with in your own home.
Yeah.
Feel like it is real
Yeah.
as much as possible. So why would you want to relate to another human per se when you can be entertained that way? You know?
And we're primed for it.
And-
We have been over with social media and the internet, kind of to put a little bow on it, I suppose. We've been primed, maybe not nefariously, maybe not conspiratorially, but just how it happened. We are primed. Your kids are especially primed to just be more inclined to it because that's all they've known. Unless you take an active approach and be like, no, son, this was a cassette, this was a vinyl, like, and you literally, and most parents, and here at least, there's no time for that, or there's just not the bandwidth or interest because they're not interested in it either. They're consumers as well. So yeah, I think we're heading towards that kind of, they call it the singularity, you know, where humans and robots or AI become kind of just integrated completely. That,
yeah,
we're headed for that.
We're here.
We're heading for it.
We're here because you look at, you know, you're not gonna have Uber drivers in three years.
Sure, yeah, that's first. I mean, they got the grocery stores are gonna cashiers. Those are
already
another
been
set of
automated
jobs
for a while,
being-
but
yeah.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Not to joke around, but I was in California 2 weeks ago, and I've seen a lot more and more of those Waymos. I've seen way more of that.
Way more of that. Way more
than
of the
regular
Waymos.
drivers
Yeah.
now. And it's like, and
Those are the self-driving.
yeah, self-driving. I went on one of them, and I joked around
I'm
again.
just gripping like that.
No, at all. It was
No.
much better than any other driver that I've
Really?
ever. Yeah,
I believe that.
They actually use their turning
Yeah,
signal.
yeah, I believe that.
They wait and stop for yellow, green,
Right.
or whatever.
As you should.
They follow the rules,
Right.
and I felt safe throughout the whole process.
Nice.
It welcomed me. It told me to make sure I had my seatbelt on. It knew my name, everything.
You see the
Told me-
wheel turning and shit.
I
on its
saw the
own?
wheel turning. I saw the signal
Wow.
being turned. I saw everything. You know, they knew where to drop me, especially where I was going was downtown. It was in Phoenix. And they knew. They just knew everything. And
Why aren't we seeing that around here? Is it like a
it's coming to
by
Miami.
state?
So this
Oh,
is
it's
where
coming?
it gets interesting. After that California trip, because I noticed a lot of them this time around, a lot more, way more. And then the lady that was sitting next to me on the plane going back to Miami, she actually worked for Waymo. I'm like, oh damn. So I'm not one to really talk a lot on planes. You know, I try to whatever do my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I talked to this lady for
Yeah.
a while because that was interesting. And I'm like, hey, how many of these are there in California? And she's like, thousands and thousands. She doesn't have the
Wow.
right number, but it's a lot. It's tens
Yeah.
of thousands already. So what? And then it's like, well, it's Vegas, California, Seattle, I think, Phoenix, some in Texas already. In Florida, Miami
On the way.
specifically is next. And I was like, when? Is like, well, by next year, you're gonna start noticing that. And what she's realizing also data-wise is that a lot of people, and that doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like, oh my God, well, did you hear about the one that caught fire?
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah. So for that, they will never use it. Oh, really? Did you hear about the 5
Uber
accidents
driver,
that happened 2 minutes
or
ago
the one
on
Uber driver
95?
that abducted their guest and like
You're
did
more
horrendous things to them.
exactly.
Like,
You're more likely to be in trouble
Yeah.
doing that. This
Yeah.
is an anomaly. That's actually
Right,
happened
right.
once.
now, is the Waymo is it a Uber type thing where it's like a fleet of just different cars, or
It's
Waymo's
only
the actual
Jaguars.
type of?
So they
Oh.
they have a contract with Jaguars. So Jaguars makes
Damn.
them big contract. They do.
Sheesh.
They
Who's
do-
winning more of that? Do you think? Who came out on obviously Waymo? I would imagine they
You mean-
secured who
Well,
came to the table with their hand
It's
out.
not the
sort of
Jaguars
thing?
that like the luxurious Jaguars. It
Okay.
doesn't feel like
Okay,
it's a completely different car. It's
Got
not a
it.
car you see on the market.
I see. Okay,
People
okay.
driving it.
Gotcha.
It's a car that exclusively is meant to be self-driving car.
Got it.
So I
I think it's a great
Jaguar
plug
just
for
happens
Jaguar
to be
though. Yeah,
the partner. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But it doesn't
No, it's
look
a-
like per se like a Jaguar
got you.
or something like that.
got you.
But here, this is what she said also with the data that they have with women specifically, because women are the number one users of Waymo, because women don't feel safe in Uber driver in Uber cars.
Yeah.
And also we shouldn't either, because who do we know? How do we know this person who's picking us up day or night hasn't been drinking, hasn't been smoking or doing anything other drugs
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm not against all that, but when you're driving, I want you to be focused.
Yeah, right.
And I want you to be alert. I
Yeah.
want you to be, responsible for my life, which you
Right.
are.
Yeah,
And prone to accident, prone to a lot of different things,
Sure.
kidnappings and all that. You're not gonna have that issue with
Right.
the Waymo. Yeah, you're gonna have the occasional, what
one
do you
that
call
catches
that?
fire. Did anyone even die on that?
No,
or-
nobody died,
Yeah,
but
so-
it caught fire. It's scary,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now it wouldn't let the person go out
Oh,
because
shit.
everything is locked,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But it could happen also. Would you be happier being stuck in a car with an Uber driver that you can't get out, or a car where there's nobody else
Yeah,
and you can't get out, and hopefully somebody comes in, breaks a window, and
Sure.
takes you out? I'd
Right.
rather be in a car where there's nobody else. If
Yeah.
I'm in a car with somebody else, there's a joke actually about the Uber driver, where it's like, he's driving, and then the person in the back is like, they tell the person in the back, the passenger, what would you think if I told you right now that I was a serial killer? And then the person in the back is like, well, the odds of having 2 serial killers in one car is pretty low.
yeah, nice. I like it.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
imagine that
Right,
for
right.
real, right? It's
Yeah,
like
literally.
you could end up being anywhere with an
Mhm.
Uber driver. So, I mean, I guess we're getting close to the end here. And one point that I wanted to really drive through, and I think you touched on it a little bit, is the human side of this world, which is obviously still alive. For us to keep it alive, and for us to really keep embracing humanity,
Yeah, because it's worth doing.
it's
It really
worth
is.
doing is a few things. For example, talk to your kids, touch them. Obviously, in this world, you have to disclaimer,
Yeah.
but touch them
Yeah.
a lot, like hold them,
Yeah.
hug them, walk with them, go to nature, be one with nature, walk outside, do all those things.
Expose them to the arts. Put them in
arts, museums,
physical activity. all that,
exactly, as much as possible. Minimize screen time as much as possible, because the screen time also is the perfect bridge for them to completely disconnect. Once they go on the other side, it's going to be hard for them to bring them back. Make sure you keep them as long as possible on this side, right? They're going to learn the stuff anyway. I've actually asked my son to build his own website.
Nice.
His name, what he likes, basketball stuff.
That's great.
However
man.
he
Yeah,
wants.
that's a great idea.
Find the tools for him to do it.
Yeah.
He's getting close to doing that.
Nice.
At 10 years old.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I am going to also encourage them to
Sure.
understand and work with AI, because
Yeah.
you're going to be in a situation. It's like you don't want them to exclude AI.
Yeah.
You want them to know how to work
Use it
with
and make
exactly
it
that
theirs.
it's a tool
Yeah.
that you can use to get ahead,
Yeah.
but not losing the human side of things.
Right.
Treat each other with love, empathy, compassion, kindness as much as possible. It's extremely important. Respect. shake each other's hands,
Eye contact.
say hello, eye contact. You get into an elevator, good morning, good evening, have a good one.
Yeah. In elevators, I like to go in and just face
Everybody, or
everyone,
look
yeah.
at the numbers as they go up. So if you're going to 100 floors, you're gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, avoiding eye contact, avoiding saying hello,
Yeah,
bye,
yeah,
or
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
No, I mean I know that's who we are now, but
Yeah.
I make it a point to try to engage
Right.
at least as much as possible as humans,
Yeah.
because that's all we have left.
Yeah, man.
And we don't know for how long we'll have that.
Right.
And if we don't do that with our kids, if you don't hold them and talk to them and have a relationship. My son just he stepped over my brother's last night, and he just texted me this morning. He has a phone now because he's going to basketball practice and stuff like that. And I'm like, I need to.
Yeah, 100%.
So I tell him not to use the phone like, kids his age are using the phone, on YouTube. And he actually respects that a lot. And I love that. And he texted me this morning what he had for breakfast, because he also knows that how much I enjoy him eating, or I encourage him eating properly. And he sent me a photo of what he had for breakfast. That's actually using technology and communication together and connect with my son. Man. But we have to do that. Right. They have to feel like you're a part of their lives. They have to feel like they can share anything with you. My daughter called me yesterday again, and she's like, Papa, I know you told me not to have any sweets this week, because I was mad at her because she didn't want to eat any real food. And I said, you know what? Don't ask me for anything this week. Don't ask me for ice cream, soda, popcorn, whatever it is that you like to eat, that snacks and stuff, at all. Zero. Yeah. And then she called me yesterday, and she's like, Papa, I know you asked me not to do all that stuff, but can I have lemonade flavored sparkling water? And she called me from my dad's phone and asked me that. And I'm like, yes. Why? Because I appreciate you telling me and asking me that.
Yeah.
That means that you trust me enough, or you're comfortable enough.
Yeah, well, you respect
me enough to ask me that. And I will bend the rules, whatever rules that were implemented because of that communication. Right. And that's where we're losing a lot of our kids in parenting, because we're not there. They come home from school, we're on our phones. Even if it's work or we're doing something else or whatever, they want to hug us. They want to spend time with us. But when we disconnect, who are they going to listen to? Who are they going to relate to? Their friends,
influencers,
literal
influencers,
the group chats that are talking about disrespecting others. That are talking. I've seen some of their chats. He actually showed me a chat.
How old is Gaten?
My son is going to be 11, and 11. My daughter is 9.
Okay.
So he showed me a chat once, and I was so shocked. I told my wife, I don't understand. There was this girl, 10 years old, that just broke up with her boyfriend, and she was looking for a man. That was
Jesus
her words.
Christ.
I'm like, what is this? And my son is like, what is that?
What is that?
And then my son is like, you know what my son said?
Yeah.
And then because one of his other friends, they're chatting and stuff, and they're like, all that stuff is bullshit. I want to go out with my friends and do my stuff. And this girl's like, I want another boyfriend. Anybody here in the
going
group
on 30, man.
And then my son, you know what he said? He said, well, I'm just here hanging out with my family. And then another person says, that's trash.
That's trash.
And then you know what he said? My son says, no, it's everything.
Yeah.
And he closed the chat. And he showed it to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I almost cried that day. I'm like, man,
well,
this is what we're.
Job. Yeah.
I mean, I guess
on that side of it,
But I would wish that more parents do that, and they're not. They're into their own little world, trying to impress other people. I don't want to judge. I know that we're also overworked. I know that.
There's a lot of other judgment. Yeah, thing. It's more literal time.
Exactly. That's how it's been. But we have to make that time for them.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that we have left.
Yeah. So. Jeff, man, I 100% could go for hours.
2 more hours.
Yeah, probably. But we'll cut it there for today.
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, this is going to be a semi-regular series, so we're going to be having Jeff on more frequently, and we'll continue hitting pretty important and interesting discussions. So, Jeff,
all right, man.
Thank you so much, brother.
Always, man. Just microphone.
Yeah, right on you.